FightHype.com, J.R. and Sevia here with Paulie Maligniaggi. Paulie, I want to get your immediate reaction to the Joshua Ruiz fight. What'd you think?
I thought Joshua had a very good game plan, and I thought it was well executed, but I thought it was a bit too much committing to the movement. But it's almost forgivable because he was knocked out 6 months ago, so maybe he's kind of not confident. But a better fighter would have made him pay for the overcommitment to the movement. I think I think Ruiz ate himself out of the heavyweight picture, literally. I mean, it's a shame because I think a slightly quicker Ruiz touches Joshua here and there a little bit more, and I'm curious to see if Joshua is confident enough to deal with that kind of adversity in the fight, you know? Because Joshua, to me, fought a smart fight, had a smart game plan, but he looked like he was almost too committed to fighting a defensive fight, to where he overcommitted sometimes to the movement and maybe did it a slightly bit too much, you know? Distance is good. This is just what he wants, but the way he was moving was sometimes overcommitting. But it's okay to a degree because 6 months, he's 6 months out from being knocked out, and maybe he's just kind of the way he's going to build his confidence back. I guess the jury's still out, so to speak, and we'll see how he progresses from here. But certainly a good night for him. You make $85 million and you regain your heavyweight titles. I think there's no complaints from Team
He made out
AJ.
all right. Yeah. What do you think about? I mean, Ruiz 2 times after the fight was over, like, called for the rematch. I don't think that the crowd really reciprocated that feeling of a third fight. Like, what do you think of that?
The shame is Ruiz looked like he busted Douglas did, you know, except that, you know, it was this was an immediate rematch. Douglas didn't get the rematch with Tyson, you know, but it looked like he busted Douglas did, and you know, it's just Joshua wasn't as hungry as a Holyfield, who had not yet won the heavyweight title. So Joshua was hungry to win the title back, but he was also a bit apprehensive because of the way things went the first time around. So you had an apprehensive fighter in Joshua. You had an apprehensive fighter who, again, to me, there was a curiosity to see if you can bring some doubt out of him, if you can make the doubts seep into him, you know, because the way he was moving, the commitment to the movement was a bit too much. The plan was okay, but there was a bit too much commitment to the movement that made me believe that doubts were still there, and if you can take advantage of that by touching him a bit here and there, maybe start to see something, some cracks in the armor again, you know. But Ruiz shows up so fat that he can't close the gap the way he wants to, and a lighter, more committed Joshua, more disciplined Joshua gets the win.
If Joshua comes back in the next fight, and let's just say fights a guy like Hunter and tries to do the same thing, still has like those thoughts of what happened at Madison Square Garden, do you think he can continue to win like that?
I don't know. I think you know, we'll see how he progresses from here. You know, it's a curiosity for all of us, because I wouldn't call it direct criticism, because 6 months after a knockout, you're almost allowed to kind of get your bearings back. It's credit to him that he went for the immediate rematch right away 6 months later. There's a lot of people picking against him, and so that's why I don't want to hear any criticism for him now, because so many people picked against him from even winning the fight. So the fact that he won the fight, now you're not allowed to say, oh, he won the fight, but this and this and that. I picked him to win the fight. So I'm giving you my breakdown of what I thought was good about the victory he got, and what I thought was a little bit of a negative for the victory he got. But I picked him to win the fight, and he sure did. But if you picked him to lose the fight, you can't now say, oh, but he did this. No, he won the fight. He proved you wrong. So, you know, it's on to the next, and it's on to you know, how he's going to improve from here. You know, and you know, we'll see. My guess is just as good as everybody else's. So we'll see.
How do you think he would fare against Wilder at this point?
I mean, right now, if you judge them off their last performances, if you judge Wilder off the Ortiz fight, he looked like, you know, he had some trouble in the Ortiz fight. You look at Joshua, looked like he had some trouble tonight. But if I had to really pick them both their performances, I'd say, you know, Wilder looks like he's another level, you know, right now. Actually, I would wonder how Ortiz and Joshua would be. Ortiz and Joshua would be a pretty good fight. I'd be curious to see if Joshua could pull off that kind of movement against a guy like Ortiz, who is a bit quicker on closing the gap. So, you know, I would say right now Wilder's ahead of the pace when it comes to the comparison.
Hey, Paulie, thanks a lot, man. Thanks for your time.